Well, what do you feel is the most important legislation facing the Commonwealth right now that is or is not being acted upon?
You know, when you ask a politician what the most important legislation is out there, of course it's going to be mine. So I have to say that one of the things I've been fighting for about 2 years now is offshore wind energy. The industry came to me. We've had many discussions. Offshore wind is the fastest growing sector of the wind industry right now. We're looking at an area about 8 to 10 miles out in Lake Erie from Presque Isle. It's not a case where some people panic right away and say, I don't want to see windmills overlooking my lakefront property, or I don't want windmills in the way of my sunsets. But that wouldn't be the case. 8 to 10 miles out, the nearest windmill would look to be about that big. But it's important because we can't afford to say no to jobs and a new high-tech industry. The industry knows what we have. We've got ideal siting areas and ideal wind flow that would make it profitable for them, and it would give us a whole new technological industry here in northwest Pennsylvania. This would benefit primarily Erie County. We've got the businesses, we've got the industry here that could manufacture the components. We've got Don John Shipping that could manufacture the special vessels that are needed for this. We've got all the pieces. We just have to have the legislation, which I had formulated in the last session, to allow the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to negotiate with these wind developers. And basically it's an underwater land lease situation. Well, my legislation did pass unanimously in the last session, but it went over to the Senate, and politics being what it is, at that point it died. They allowed the bill to just go away. So being a new session now, I'm reformulating the legislation, and hopefully we can get this done because New York is doing it, Ohio's doing it. I just came back from a wind conference in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and the growth of wind power is phenomenal. For those concerned about the price of electricity, the per kilowatt hour price is dropping quickly on wind power because there's so much of it. Texas is leading this country in wind power right now, and there is no offshore wind on the North American continent. So whoever's the first to do this is going to be getting an awful lot of attention from the world as far as contributing to the energy that we so badly need in this country. The other big piece of legislation that I've been pushing for 4.5 years, is tax credits for volunteer responders. Our volunteer fire departments are critical to us. They actually, in Pennsylvania, provide 70% of the fire protection. These men give up a great deal of their time for maintaining equipment, getting advanced education, and of course responding to fires. So my legislation would allow a municipality that has an earned income tax to offer to the volunteers a tax credit. What this would do is, first, it would recognize the volunteers and what they give to the community. It would help recruit new members, and it would help retain the members that we have in the system right now. I think it's critical to get this done as quickly as possible. It's another piece of legislation that I had passed unanimously the last time, and again our state Senate decided to let it die. So I'll be pushing harder on that this time around. Another piece of legislation that I think is critical at this time, but is not mine personally, although I am a co-sponsor. People often come to me and say, can't we downsize the state legislature? And after some study, I've decided that the best way to downsize the state legislature might be to go to a unicameral legislature. In other words, why do we need two bodies? Just coming back from Halifax, as I had mentioned before, the province of Nova Scotia has a unicameral legislature. They got rid of their senatorial body, or as they called it, the House of Lords, back in 1928. So I think that in our situation, with the Senate basically representing the same people that we represent, I think we could get a lot more done if we started down the road, give an honest look at a unicameral legislature and clean up the process and downsize the government and cut the costs.